off to the races. One quick second here, make sure I got everything I need, and then we're going to get into it. So, today, I wanted to start off by apologizing. My goal is to do these 5 times a week, and yesterday, I guess, the day just kind of got going and it slipped away from me. So, I missed my Wednesday. So, we're actually going to be doing 2 episodes of the podcast today. We're going to be doing one this morning. We're going to be doing one later this evening because when I promised to do 5 a week, we're doing 5 a week, even if that means doing 2 on Thursday instead of doing one on Wednesday and one on Thursday. But today we're going to be talking about how you, as an athlete, need to stop being afraid of getting strong. But before we get into it, as always, if you've tuned into the show before, I just want to say, first off, I appreciate you. Doing this podcast is one of my absolute favorite things to do. I truly, truly enjoy it. So I just want you to know I appreciate you. But more so, if you've tuned into this podcast before, you know we've got good messages coming out here. You know that we are doing good things here. And my biggest ask of you would be to share this with a friend, with a teammate, with someone who needs to hear the message. So we're talking today about how you need to stop being afraid of getting strong. And we're going to get into it in about 30 seconds. But in the meantime, I hope you guys are all having a fantastic day. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being here. And yeah, let's get going. Just one quick second. Good. All right. Why you need to stop being afraid of getting strong. First, I'm not going to do a flip. Can't do that, but appreciate you being here. Anyways, let's get into it now in 3, 2, 1. Welcome everybody to another episode of the Elite Development Podcast, the #1 show for athletes looking to gain an edge on their opponents and build their dream careers in sport. I'm your host, Kenny Dusseault, and today we are going to talk about how you need to stop being afraid of getting strong. Why? Why do we need to have this discussion? To me, I've been in this industry for a while. I've been lifting weights for over half my life, and it just seems like common sense. If you want to be a good athlete, strength seems like it just makes sense. You should be strong if you're trying to be a good athlete. Makes sense to me. However, I see this mentality still be so present in the world of sport that strength is somehow a bad thing. That strength is somehow a bad thing, or that somehow you're going to build real strength that applies to sport by doing body weight exercises or doing random sessions through your week that have no actual structure. And so today I really want to dig into that. So first off, strength is defined as the capacity for exertion or endurance or the power to resist force. So as an athlete, think about this. As an athlete, why would that be a bad thing? How could this not be important? How is it not important for you to have more capacity for exertion when you're competing in sport at a high level? Again, it seems like common sense, but if you're out there and you're thinking lifting weights is bad for you, it's somehow going to hurt you, it's somehow going to negatively impact your performance in sport, this is an episode for you. So let's talk about a few common strength-related myths. #1 that I hear all the time is that being strong will make you slow. So honestly, this one's just funny to me because I don't know what the hell people are basing it on, but so many people out there tell me that they don't lift weights because they don't want to be slow. They want to maintain their speed, so they don't want to get too strong. They don't want to lift weights because they think that lifting weights is going to make them slow. They don't want to do that because they want to maintain their speed. So speed is equal to mass times velocity. So the more strength you have relative to body weight, the more power you can put into your movements. So if you can put more power into your movements, then the faster you can move. So stop thinking that by strength training, you are somehow going to get slower, because by being able to move your body with more power, you can move your body faster. It's just common sense. Again, Your ability to move more explosively and your ability to move faster is enhanced by being stronger. Because if you're stronger, you have more force that you can put into every movement you make. And if you have more force that you can put into every movement you make, then that means that you can move faster. Not only can you move faster, but you can move faster for longer. So if you're competing in a 3 5-minute round fight or 3 3-minute round fight, now instead of being really fast in the first round and fading off as time goes on, being stronger allows you to do that for longer without even starting into the conditioning work. Now, that's not me saying you shouldn't do conditioning work, but just me trying to really reinforce the point that being strong is not a bad thing when it comes to competing in sport. So, being strong does not make you slow. It actually gives you the ability not just to move fast, but to throw real power behind your shots and in turn take over your fights. And not just take over for a round before it starts to fade off, but truly take over for the duration of the fight. Now, the second myth that I hear all the time when it comes to strength training, myth might be the wrong word, but the second thing that I really wanted to address in this talk about why you need to stop being scared of being strong is I hear athletes tell me they don't lift weights because they don't want to get too big. Now, can we just please stop this one? Like, if you're out there right now thinking that you're going to get too big from lifting weights, listen up and then let this be the day that you never say that again. Because the amount of people that have said this to me, that they don't want to get too big so they don't strength train, blows me away. This doesn't happen by accident. Like, if you've ever seen the Arnold Schwarzeneggers of the world or the Chris Bumsteads of the world, these bodybuilders that, are competing on the world stage, these guys don't get to be that size by accident. You don't just wake up one day and go, oops, I'm huge. Like, that's not how that works. And I don't understand how athletes think that strength training a couple of times a week is going to turn them into bodybuilders. So, like, I want you guys to really understand it. These guys train religiously to make this happen. These guys train every single day. These guys are doing very specific workouts to achieve these specific outcomes. They're not just doing specific workouts, they're eating a specific way. They're taking one or two things that you're not allowed to take if you're competing in most federations, in most other sports. These guys don't get this way by accident. So if you are avoiding lifting weights because you're afraid of getting too big, one of my favorite analogies I've ever heard is that if you're not lifting weights because you're afraid of getting too big, that's similar to you being afraid that driving your minivan is going to turn you into a NASCAR driver. That's just not how it works. Like, you getting strong doesn't automatically blow you up and make you too big to fight. So first off, let's get away from the notion that having muscle is a bad thing as a combat sports athlete. And number two, let's get away from the notion that lifting weights a couple of times a week is going to somehow make you into a bodybuilder and, gas you out and make it too difficult for you to actually perform at a high level. And so the third one that I actually want to get into is based off of that as well. People talking about how having too much muscle is going to gas them out. Now, again, I'm not going to sit here and say that that doesn't play a role, because there might be a role to that, but we're looking at that very one-dimensionally. If you're an athlete right now thinking that I don't want to have too much muscle because I don't want to gas out, this is going to be a really important thing for you to realize and something that you can take into your training right away. Having muscle does not gas you out. Having muscle does not gas you out. What gasses you out is improper conditioning work. So you can be big and strong and have a lot of muscle by training for it. But if you are big and strong and have a lot of muscle, what we want to understand is that that is not going to gas you out when you are training, but when you are fighting. what you are going to need to do is make sure that you are properly developing your energy system. So if you have a fight, this is a very, very, very basic template of how I do the energy system work with my athletes. Hopefully we have 10 weeks to prepare for a fight. Generally in the off season, our main focus is the aerobic system. So we're building up aerobic capacity. We're doing longer duration conditioning work. That's, circuit work, where the whole idea is paced. So we're focused on keeping a steady pace for longer time. So this is going to be circuits that we do for 12 to 15 minutes. This is going to be bike sprint sessions where they're pushing for 2 minutes hard and 1 minute easy, repeated for anywhere from 4 to 12 rounds. Basically anything where you're focused on keeping a pace and not keeping a sprint. Now let's say we have 10 weeks to prepare for a fight. Those first 4 weeks, we're going to dig into more shorter, little bit shorter than what we're usually doing in the off season. And we're going to be focused on building strength and building power. So as the body gets stronger, as the body gets more explosive, we want to make sure that the conditioning work is about 1 minute of work to 2 to 3 minutes of rest. And the reason we want to set in that range is we want to keep working on the pace, but we want to keep working on the pace at a higher pace, which is going to translate better to the explosive nature of the fight. For those first 4 weeks, we're building that up as much as we can. As we keep building that up, as that pace continues to improve, when we get into those last 6 weeks, a lot of the focus becomes movement patterns, making sure they're not just moving explosively, but they're able to better control it. Repeatability of those movement patterns, of those explosive efforts, as well as making sure that we're getting into conditioning work now that is more anaerobic. So that's anywhere between 5 to 45 seconds of work, followed by complete rest in between sets to make sure that we can be at maximal pace and then recovering from that quickly. Now, if you are a strong muscular athlete, following, and again, this was a very, very general template. The goal of this show is not to dig into the specifics of strength and conditioning, but just get you guys thinking, get you guys working a little bit differently. And so if you are a strong, powerful athlete that has some muscle mass, instead of just bodybuilding all the time and expecting yourself to be able to step into a cage at a high level, what I need you to do is understand energy systems. What I just talked about there on a very basic level, understand that on a deeper level. And if you can understand that on a deeper level, if you can really get yourself to the point where you're properly developing the conditioning you need to step into the ring or the cage at the highest level, you're not going to gas out just because you have muscle. So stop worrying about being strong. Stop worrying about having muscle. Understand that these things are a benefit to you and not a detriment. But it's about the training you do, not about the shape of your body, which is going to actually help you perform. So, based off of what we talked about today, I hope that digs a little bit of a hole or pokes a little bit of a hole in those myths that you've heard about strength training, those myths that you've heard about how strength training negatively impacts athletic performance. So now I want to really dig into what strength training does for athletic performance. So first off, strength training properly allows you to even out muscle imbalances. So when you've been training for a while and all of a sudden you start realizing that one of your shoulders is, super tight and doesn't quite work as well as the other shoulder. Strength training properly helps you even that out. It can help you increase your mobility. And I know a lot of people think that getting strong makes you tighter. But again, if you are doing mobility work to help open up tight muscles and tight joints, being stronger allows you to maintain that mobility more effectively. Because if your arm is stretched out at full range of motion, if you have more strength through your back and strength through your shoulder and strength through your chest, that holds your shoulder in position more effectively. And if it holds your shoulder in position more effectively, you don't have to be as guarded, and then you can be more loose and mobile while you're throwing punches, while you're throwing kicks, because you have the muscle to support your body. This can also correct posture, which plays an absolutely instrumental role in athletic performance. Because if you have better posture, you're moving more efficiently. If you're moving more efficiently, you're wasting less energy. And if you're wasting less energy, that's more energy that can go into actually performing and not just supporting your movement. So correcting your posture, massively important. And this is a primary role of strength training. This is also going to help stabilize joints. So again, coming back to injuries, this is a huge one. Being able to stabilize your joints more effectively means you can throw more power without having to worry about it. So if you've had that nagging shoulder injury or that nagging hip injury that just doesn't seem to want to go away, being stronger better supports that joint. And if your joint is better supported, you can do more with it without it causing injury. So again, plain and simple, stop being afraid of being strong, because being strong heals your body. This is going to help you perform because your body is better supported. So don't be worried about it. Don't be afraid of it. Start embracing it. Understand that it's not going to make you slow. It's going to enhance every area of your athletic performance. Now, finally, it's going to help you learn new movement patterns, enhance coordination, and peripheral skills. So by being stronger, like I said, you're moving more efficiently. And if you're moving more efficiently, that means you're able to do more. That means these new movement patterns, these new skills, these new techniques that you're learning at the gym, you're able to put more behind them. And if you're able to put more behind them, you're able to do them faster. If you're able to do them faster, you're able to implement them more effectively. And if you implement them more effectively, you take over your fights. So again, same deal. By getting stronger, everything you do gets easier. Everything. And so if you are looking to take your athletic career to the next level, if you are looking to truly see success in your sport, if you are looking to break away from the issues you're having right now with injuries, with gas tank, with whatever else it might be, getting stronger is your unlock. That's it. Getting stronger is your unlock. It is the answer. So stop listening to these myths from the 1980s. Stop listening to these coaches that learned 40 years ago that lifting weights was bad, because guess what? We've learned something since then. Like, we've learned something since the athletes at the top level weren't lifting weights because they thought it was bad for them. We've developed as a society, we've developed as an industry, and we understand the actual benefits of this now. So stop being closed-minded and start understanding that if you want to take your game to the next level, strength is not something that you can negotiate. Strength training is not something that you can not have time for. Strength training needs to be part of your routine if you want to succeed at the highest level. That's it. That's all. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys got something out of it. If you did, my number one ask of you is that you share the show with a teammate, share the show with a friend, share the show with somebody who needs to hear this message. And that is it for me. I hope you guys all have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll talk to you all again soon.